So, listen, I didn't get all dressed up for you guys today. I will put on my glamour filter. And I will put the ring light more prominently on me. Oh gosh, I know what's going on with my ring light. However, I have just had a delectable meal. It is Soulful Saturday. And I told you, you just have to have your bell notifications on in order to catch me live. Otherwise, it is up here for you to see at your leisure. We are still in the seat of the soul, and we are now on the next chapter. What chapter we on? 4, I believe. Yes. Chapter 4, Heart. All right. Before we dive in, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to give you a little rundown of what's going on here with me, right? This is what's happening with me. So, I know most of the time I come on here, I be prettied up. I really don't be prettied up. I just was putting in a little bit more effort. But today I did a lot of efforting. Okay, I did a lot. I had a meeting with some wonderful ladies of a cohort that I have just been accepted into, that I'll be graduating from in about 6 weeks. And on top of that, I cooked dinner. On top of that, I just basically been really, really diving in. I've been listening to some cool, awesome people. And I gotta shout them out. Gotta shout them out. I gotta shout them out. You already know my affection for Dr. Michael Beckwith. You already know my affection for Lisa Nichols. But now I am like super, 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 super excited about Dr. Let me say it right. Dr. Be serious. I'm super hyped. He's another metaphysician. He's actually a music producer, also. Like, doctor, doctor. I don't know my circle of fifths like this, but that's my realm right there. Okay, that's my medium right there. Music, one of my mediums. But anyway, I just love how he has um, just revamped his whole entire life, and how he's like being of service, to humanity. And, I'm just looking forward to my growth, because I know the more I serve, the more I'll grow, and the more I have the opportunity to actually not just be like, kudos to these people, but like really be like hanging out with these folks. This is what I want to do. Not like this though, not like this. Cause I gotta do some things. You see my pimples. I gotta do some detox, and not just intestinal intent, not just in my gut. I gotta do a whole shaboing and a boing boing. Okay, and I feel like I'm doing that at the end of this year, because technically the new year didn't start. So a lot of people, they do their detoxes at the end of the Gregorian calendar, but not in tune with nurture. So I'm doing mine's in tune with nature. I'm nervous and excited about it, but it falls in alignment with everything that's going on. I feel like he read me today. Because I learned so many things. Like, for example, I didn't know polyester was toxic. I don't know. I know polyester was toxic. The makeup I kind of did know, but I didn't know, like, I didn't know as much as I learned just listening to him speak. So, even though I do alchemize and eat meat, like I eat meat. I do. However, with that being said, I'm still gonna do that detox and just, get all of the squirmies up out of me, and and see what the results gonna be. And I'm excited because you guys get to see it right here on my channel, right? So yeah, we're gonna get this skin completely clear, because acne is a symptom of little squirmies. I'm glad that most of my other skin is clear. It's really my face that needs the clarity, but gonna work on it, get it done. and I'm excited about it. And yes, my revolution is being televised right here at the Super Tea Podcast Show. You already know the deal. The tea here is not the hot topics that everybody's talking about. No, the tea here is a specific tea. It is matcha tea. Yeah, matcha is the tea that I serve here. So, with no further ado, I'm jumping into the seat of the soul. We are going to together learn about the heart. Chapter 4, Heart. The logics that have served our five sensory exploration of physical reality cannot comprehend evolution without time or the influence of the present upon the past. It cannot meaningfully represent the existence of the soul or a dynamic of energy balancing that generates and links many lifetimes. They reflect no experiential points of reference beyond those of the five sensory personality. Therefore, the time has come for a higher order of logic and understanding. And before I go further, please do understand this book was written back in the 80s. Let me just double check that. Let me just double check. We are way more advanced now. Yes, 89. Nonetheless, it is still relevant because even though this book was written for the changes that we are now in, only feel the differences and we don't really know what to do with those differences, especially if our instincts are a little weebly wobbly because of the toxins that may be exposed to our internals, you know? So that's why that detox is important. But anyway, I'm going to continue to go into this book because this book is talking about where we need to be. We need to be beyond just our five senses of sight and hearing and smell and taste. You know, we need to be beyond that. We need to be multi-sensory where all of our senses, you know, we are multi-dimensional beings. I'm not saying we have to be conscious of the fact that we are multi-dimensional, but we do need to be conscious of our senses, all of them, and be tuned in and tapped in so that that divine energy that's already within us can navigate us and we can utilize it to navigate to achieve our goals. So it navigates us, which means it guides us, but we can also use that energy in a focused way to bring to fruition the things that we desire. So I'm going to continue now. The logics and understandings of the five sensory personality originate in the mind. They are the products of the intellect, the higher order of logic and understanding that is capable of reflecting, meaningfully reflecting the soul, comes from the heart. The creation of this higher order of logic and understanding, therefore, requires close attention to feelings. The central position of the heart is the higher order of logic. And did I have some heart moments this week? This is so timely. When I tell you, this is so timely. I'm going to do my best not to get super excited about it. But you know, this is one of my favorite chakras is this one right here. It's this heart chakra. I love all my chakras. I really, 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 really do. However, that heart chakra. So let me continue. The central position. I'm gonna start again at this paragraph because I think I stopped in the middle of it. I'm gonna start this paragraph again. The central position of the heart in the higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory human and the sensitivity to emotional currents that is characteristic of multisensory humans appear as extraneous to the five sensory personality because they do not serve the accumulation of external power consciously. We have come to view feelings as unnecessary appendages like tonsils. Woo-hoo. Can we stop there? Useless. Who told you tonsils was useless, baby? Who told you that? I know there was a period of time when people thought tonsils are not useless. If they get inflamed, just take them out. Oh no. Oh no. Oh heck no. Do you know what your tonsils do? Your tonsils filter your freaking lungs. They protect your lungs. Do you know what we do as human beings? We naturally evolve to our freaking environments, okay? So we are able to breathe this air that still needs a whole bunch of cleaning. We're able to breathe this air, and we ain't even talk about the stuff that they put into the air. I'm not talking about this the stuff that is like a byproduct of them burning a whole bunch of stuff, but the stuff that they put into the air. Okay, we didn't even talk about that stuff. Okay, these tonsils are like two angel balls in the back of your throat. Okay, they're like two angel balls. It's an alarm that you need to uh, cleanse, detox your body. It's not an alarm that you need to go and remove them. They are your friends. My tonsils is one of my besties, okay? Especially as a vocalist. My tonsils are my freaking besties and they're visible. And I love them. 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 So just I had to just throw that out there because I'm so adamant about my tonsils because I remember when I realized like how important they are and just how natural they are. Like some people may look and be like, your tonsils look bigger than other people's tonsils. Yes, they are. They're not inflamed. They are naturally larger. I was born in the city. Now interesting enough, my firstborn tonsils, I can't see his tonsils, but my tonsils are visible. I don't feel like showing them right now, but they're visible. Like you go when I go they're visible. And but what I did notice was when I replicated myself, I didn't even realize I was replicating myself until I actually replicated myself with my baby girl, was that she was just like a identical replica of me in every way. Just her complexion was much lighter, and she had a different texture and length of mane upon her wonderful crown. But everything else was a replica, including her tonsils. And I noticed them since she came. When she cried, I'm one of those mamas. I be watching everything. I know where every little spot is because I watched. And switch my baby. I'm looking at my baby for pointers. Fuck those hospitals that be switching babies' tags and all that other dumb, excuse my language stuff. Somebody said something about that. Soon as my baby come out, put my baby on me. I'm looking for stuff so I could identify my baby. You ain't gonna switch my baby. Oh, man. I still check this grown one. Like, let me see if that birthmark's still on your ankle. All right. All right. You still the original copy. It's not. I said to you, but I gotta be careful with it. Because thoughts, gotta be careful. Anyway, they are very useful. I don't know why people think that they're unnecessary. What we have is for a purpose, everything. But people think that feelings are unnecessary. Isn't that silly? They think that they're capable of creating pain and dysfunction, though. Thus, the pursuit of external power has led to a repression of emotions. Aren't we seeing that with Mr. Cheetos? Now, I'm a divert from this paragraph a little bit. Aren't we seeing that with Mr. Cheetos? Does Mr. Cheetos look like he's like feeling anything when he's doing the stuff that he's doing? It's almost like a robot. And interesting enough, even though I don't pay him no mind, because he's projected himself and other people are paying him mind, occasionally something comes across my screen that's not somebody else actually like digesting and regurgitating whatever he's doing. Like I'll see an actual clip of him. And so before I saw the actual clip though, I saw a regurgitation. And the regurgitation was somebody making a what do they call those things when you're making fun of somebody? I don't know what they call those things. I can't think of the word. It's a word for it. Like when you just like the actor is acting just like the person. So like they had the whole hair and they just was like, making jokes of it. And I was like, I just looked at it and shook my head and kept on scrolling. And then when I saw the actual clip of him doing the actual thing, oh God, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue. I want to say Canva, but it's not Canva. But it's, I feel like it's something that starts with a C. Um, Whatever it is. You guys know what it is, probably. They did a lot of it on In Living Color back in the day when they're like doing it again. They're making funny, but they're doing exactly what the person is doing. They're dressed like the person. They're moving like the person. You know. Anyway, I saw that, and then I seen a clip afterwards with him like that, and I'm just like, where is he? He is completely checked out. Like you can see that he's not present. He's checked out. And it's like when you know this stuff, when you know that looking for external power is really or doing so much, like what you give of yourself, what you give of yourself when you think you're gaining something, when you really ain't gaining nothing, nothing. You don't think it's better to be free and in control of your own faculties versus you didn't sacrifice your own freedom for this pseudo power? It ain't even real. People is not even caring that much. They're not. They learning not to. They like it's a waste. What's the point? You know. Be present and rule your own life. That part. And then, I mean, it's now the serious parts are planes falling out the sky because you you fired the aviation safety people, huh? You gave them buyouts. Who aviators? That's what y'all did. Y'all took buyouts. Y'all said, "Fuck, keep the skies clear. We're out of here." What? And some other people that he offered those things to too. We're about to see. But let's get back to this book. Like, don't do it. Stay there. If you are a person of integrity and you are in a position to be of service, please stay there. I don't care what they're offering you. Just stay there. These 4 years shall pass. This too shall pass. Do not go anywhere. Okay. I'm gonna just stay there. Okay. Look what the aviation people did. They was like, you know what? Let me just get this money and get out of here. And then planes are falling out the sky because there's nobody that got what? Man, I'll be so happy when Armageddon is over. I really do. And I'm just so grateful that um, God has like a protective bubble. And I hate to say it like that because that's really, it's accurate but inaccurate. It's not because of any specialness, you know. It is literally because of the energy that is being cultivated and that is being projected. That energy creates it. Divinity, yes, is what is fueling that energy. Love is fueling that energy. Other energies that are good and conducive to love and to growth and to peace and to happiness and to health, those energies are at play. And those energies at play only attract more of itself to it. Unfortunately, those other energies, destruction, hate, violence, those energies attract more of itself to it. So we all have a choice. Where are you going to put your mind? Where are you going to put your energy? Are you going to put your energy into love, into peace, into joy, into happiness, into forgiveness? Or are you going to put your energy into violence? Are you going to put your energy into stress? Are you going to put your energy into currency that somebody made? Because before a person decide to make currency, there existed currents. There's energy all around you. It's okay to agree. if it's going to be beneficial. But if it's not going to be beneficial, why are you agreeing to a systematic way of behavior that is destructive? You don't gotta participate. You do not have to play. And here's a kicker that just came to me. You don't have to run away not to play neither. You don't have to run away not to play. You can do whatever you want to do. Now, if you want to go somewhere else, you can go somewhere else. But you could not play right here. Right here, you could not play. And I hate to say watch because nobody wants to see that destruction. But at least nobody that's happy and healthy. Somebody that's happy and healthy doesn't want to see destruction. We want to see peace. We want to see health. We want to see growth. And that's what we do see because we're happy and healthy. So we see more of what we are. Nonetheless, it's just some interesting times. I'm going to get back to the book because this is what we're here for, right? Seed of the soul. Let's continue reading, okay? All right. Whew. The pursuit of external power has led to a repression of emotions. This is true of us as individuals and as a species. So people just not feeling. They are feeling, but they like pushing it down. They're like ignoring their feelings. They're like, oh, I felt this. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't feel it because I got to be strong so I could be powerful, more powerful than you are. Huh? What are you doing? No, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let your feelings flow. Responsibly, of course. Like, I'm not telling you to, like, be angry and break into a rage. That's not what I'm suggesting. But I'm saying acknowledge the fact that if you are feeling a way, it is to bring some type of awareness to you. And what you can do, instead of stuffing it down, like, I don't feel this way, I ain't sure I feel this way, is like deal with it. Like ask, what is this feeling here for? Why am I feeling this? What can I do about this? Do I like this feeling? If I like it, what do I do for it to stay? If I don't like it, wait, what do I do so I don't get it? What is it trying to tell me? What is trying to be revealed to me? Let me continue. The irrelevancy that we attribute to feelings pervades our thinking and our values. We admire the hard-nosed businessman who fires employees for the sake of external power. We reward the military officer who sends himself or others to pain and death for the sake of external power. We honor the statesman who is not swayed by compassion. Again, this was written in the 80s. This is not applicable to me. I'm just reading those words from here. It is making a point of and a generalization of society. And now, in 2025, we see what those admirations that they're referring to has created. Chaos. But do not be dismayed, because out of chaos comes order. And so I'm so excited because I'm like, I want to see the order. I'm here for the order. Yes, I can't wait. It's happening. All right. When we close the door to our feelings, back in the book, we close the door to the vital currents. Didn't I just mention currency? Currents. Yeah, currents, energy. Energy has existed before we have existed. Energy still exists. Energy existed before man decided, let me get this and say, this right here is worth such and such. And I will give you this if you give me what I want. We're going to call this piece of paper money. And I know money didn't start with paper. Money started with stones and rocks and crystals and stuff. And before that even started, there was a barter system, which many of us is back to that barter system on the Lizzo, not so Lizzo, okay? Many of us. You wonder, like, how are these people doing this, but their bank account shows that they don't have nothing, but we're like living our best lives. We ain't going back and forth with nobody. Living our best life because we are using our other senses. We are literally growing. People are growing food inside of their apartments with these little hydroponic contraptions. And they like buying seeds for almost nothing off of freaking Amazon. Okay, people are learning how to be sustainable. And if I have this type of harvest or this type of product, and you have that type of product, and I have it in abundance, you have it in abundance, then we could swap. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Barter, baby. Barter, baby. And then we can get creative, especially as artists. I think as artists are only creative with putting together songs and putting together paintings, and we're not creative with how we're going to keep our tummies full and healthy. Come on. Creative. We are creating solutions. Let's get back to the book though. When we close the door to our feelings, we close the door to the vital current. It's just amazing because you know that this, when I read this, I'm sorry, I just gotta interject a little bit, a lot. When I read this, I go through the chapter, whatever's flowing through me is what's flowing through me. I share it right here on this platform. And then I literally put this paper right here and I put this book and it stays there. It stays right here the whole week. I go on and I do the other stuff that I do with my life. So I love how I get the confirmations that I am in alignment and doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing because again, divinity is working through me as me, and these are just tools. Divinity is working through us all if we are conscious and we're not blocking it with our minds. We could, that's how powerful our minds is. Our minds could block divinity. Like, whoa, yep, you can, you know? So, oh, that was a good one. Excuse me. So, it's just ironic that I mentioned the word currency and currents, and then I get to the a paragraph, and it's just saying exactly what I just said. But it shows that I am in alignment, and even though this book and I are becoming more intimate, the knowledge in this book and I are quite intimate already, quite friendly with each other. We know each other. And I see it. I see it all the time. And I saw it today and I felt bad. Okay, I had an incident today where my energy projected judgy and defensiveness. And it was automatic. Some things are, we got to retrain ourselves, you know? And I saw it and I saw the result of it afterwards. And I had to ask for forgiveness. Like, I'm not here to project the old shit. I'm here for the new shit. I've had to experience, you know, the old ways and I've had to survive that, but that is over. Those chapters are done. What you see that's happening on our TV screens in our nation is like the residue of the old shit. It's heavy, it's sticky, you know, but it ain't, times have changed. The currents in our atmosphere has literally changed. And that's why people are responding with humor. People are responding with doing their own internal spiritual work. People are responding with focusing on growing themselves, being more loving, being more compassionate, using affirmations. How many brown women are getting in touch with their cultural spirituality and diving deep in and saying, you know what? I'm not going to believe that you're telling me that me honoring my ancestors is devilish. I'm not going to believe that me putting on some copper is unchristian. Because what does the word Christian mean? What was that just fell? I don't know what that was that just fell. It was interesting though. It wasn't above. It was in here. Something fell over there. There's literally nothing happening over there. Like there's no little people running around that I could see. Not with these eyes. Not with these sensors right here. Let me not pick my face. Did you see me picking it? Um. So yeah, the point is like we're doing our stuff. So kudos, ladies. Kudos, even brothers. Like kudos, humanity, for realizing that you have divinity in you. Those who realize it. Those who don't realize, just keep watching us that do. Alrighty, let's get back to the book. All right. Um, I'm gonna start this paragraph again because I want to make sure everything, is together. When we close the door to our feelings, we close the door to the vital currents that energize and activate our thoughts and actions. We cannot begin the process of understanding the effects of our emotions upon us, our environment, and other people, or the effects of emotions of other people upon themselves, their environments, and us, without an awareness of our emotions. We cannot associate the effects of anger, sadness, grief, and joy within ourselves or others with their causes. We cannot distinguish between the part of us which is personality and that part of us which is soul. Without an awareness of our feelings, we cannot experience compassion. How can we share the sufferings and joys of others if we cannot experience our own? You hear that? How can people care about what other people are experiencing if they're not even caring about what they are experiencing? Deep. If we are not intimate with our emotions, we cannot perceive the dynamics that lie behind emotions. And can I just throw this out here because it's cute and I love it? Emotions is energy and motion. We back to that currency, baby. We back to that currency. And I'm not talking about the paper that some people have agreed to consider money. We don't really care what you do with it. We don't really care. We care if you give it value, don't give it value. We don't care. Because those who know what they know are still existing, creating, and coming up with creative ways of existing and coexisting together, regardless. 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 All right, let me continue. I'm a little tired from that good old dinner. So it's like sleepy. I feel like my last episode I was sleepy too. I had a longer day than today. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning the last time I did my Soulful Saturday. So I'm a little early this time. It's only 10 o'clock. But I like sleepy talking because, it's almost like drunk talking. You get the truth. You're not, pre-thinking like, is this going to sound right? This going, no. Does it feel right? Oh, what is my emotions telling me about it? Ooh. All right. Where was I at? Oh, let me just start from this paragraph right here. If we are not intimate with our emotions, we cannot perceive the dynamics that lie behind emotions, the way that these dynamics work, and the ends that they serve. Oh, it's a purpose to emotions. Emotions are currents of energy that pass through us. Awareness of these currents is the first step in learning how our experience come into being and why. Emotions reflect intentions. Ooh, I had an experience today. So I gotta stop right here and share that experience briefly. Of course, with respect to privacy, but it's me. So this is my emotion I'm talking about. So but people don't realize how their energy, like how their intention goes. People are sometimes just hung up on on the aesthetics, you know. And come on, I love to look cute too when I feel like it. And not saying that I don't look cute when I don't feel like it. But what I am gonna say is that anyone, whoever's watching this, can feel the intentions of what I'm sharing with you. And anybody who's near me, they can feel whatever intention I am intending at the time. Like I said, I had a judgy moment, just a brief moment, but still a judgy moment. Um, and it was felt, and I could tell it was an uncomfortable feeling because the way the reaction went, you know. And I normally don't have those type of things, but I did, in particularly because I'm like, you know, I know how this type of community operates, and because I know how this type of community operates, then you know I have to now put up a barrier, you know. And I hadn't had a discussion with my son about it. Previously, we had a discussion immediately afterwards, and but then I had to check myself. I had to check myself afterwards. Say, what are you doing? You just judge somebody because of what they do, even though I don't agree with it, you know, and even though a lot of people will find it very hard not to judge that. But I just was judgmental. I just was judgmental because of a condition that somebody decided to be in for external power, you know. And it was fucked up because I'm supposed to be showing compassion, you know. I'm not supposed to be a walkover. I'm supposed to be alert and aware. However, I'm not supposed to be like, this is a bad person because they're distributing these poisons. That's not right. It's not right. You know, people are doing the best with what they know. That's the truth of the matter. So who the heck am I to be judging and saying they ain't right because they're distributing poison? Maybe they just think that's the best that they can do, you know? Maybe nobody told them that they have better options now. Maybe they're not aware, you know? They have been programmed to thinking that's the best option in this circumstance. They don't know there's options that they're not even aware of. Okay? So I had that moment. But let's get back to intention. So I seen something, right? You know, because I be in these social media platform streets, right? And you know, I've met people, and I guess when I initially came in contact with those souls, um, it seemed to be a good, genuine, heartfelt connection, you know, to the point where, you know, I remembered the interaction, even though it wasn't a long interaction, but I remembered the interaction, and I was like, oh, cool, awesome, you know. So I seen the relative of an individual, and it made me think of the individual. And I was like, oh, I wonder what happened to that individual. They're doing excellent. And I wonder what happened to the other individual that it was like almost like a trio. You know, we all kind of like hung out in our youth for a very short period of time. And so, you know, I was just wondering, like, did they keep in contact with the other person and how are they doing? So I made it's funny because when I thought, like, our thoughts are so powerful. When I thought to wonder how they were doing, instantly, instantly, I didn't have to go and like I couldn't go anyway because again many years ago I couldn't like find out. It was just like I had the thought, the answer was there, boom boom boom, and I was just like, oh wow, okay, all right, let me think of some other good stuff now. I got some more questions, universe. Akashic records. So I also would like to know ABC, and then of course I have my prophetic dreams. So uh, all I can say is so. With that being said, um, even though there has not been any interaction for a whole bunch of time or whatever, like there's still some type of soul connection. I don't know why. Probably maybe we're from the same planet. I'm just gonna go out there and say that. And we probably have similar missions. They're dealing with things differently. Their vibrations appears to be of a higher level, which is good, which is servicing humanity. So again, when I say we're from a different planet, possibly we're from the same homeland. Who freaking knows? And I ain't talking about here. I'm talking about from the cosmos. Because I'm old. I'm a very old soul. People, I recognize I'm an old soul. I'm young in this body right here. This body right here is only a couple of decades, baby. But this soul, this is an aeon soul. Like this is not a new soul. Mm-mm. I don't even know of new souls. I mean, yeah, because you see these babies? You see these babies that come through? These babies are all old souls. Do you know how? Do you know? You don't know. You got the BB to know. You have to be next to me all the time to see how they be looking at me. Cause they be looking like they don't look at me like glance at me. They be staring me down. Okay. Yesterday was yesterday. Today's Saturday. Yes, it was yesterday. Yesterday, and I see this wonderful little soul. He's in this wonderful little body, and he's just having the time of his life, stomping, 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 splashing in the puddle, splashing in the puddle, and I'm like, oh. As I get closer, this is in Brooklyn. As I get closer, homeboy stops the stomping and stares me all the way down. And at the time I had a mask on. So I'm smiling and he's just looking like that. And they're always looking at me like when I say always, always, always. If they are awake, they find me and they stare me all the way down. and the animals do too. The animals do freaking too. I was coming in the other night and the animal was across the street and seen me and stopped. They do their little thing when they acknowledge you and stuff. And I was just like, you don't know me. I know you see me, but you don't know me. And they kept going with the owner. But so back to intention. So I am receptive and perceptive to energy as well as babies and animals are. Babies and animals are very perceptive to energy. They notice it. And so I have that type of ability. So I can watch and I could see, certain things. And I saw something, I was just like, oh, that was that person's intention. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, that explains why there hasn't been a conscious reconnection because even though they are very high vibrational, there are still some blockages. And I have my own blockages. But I could see why those blockages they're different. They're different blockages. It's like, hmm, is that authentic? Hmm, that can't be authentic. Like nobody is really that happy. Like, mm-mm. Nobody over there could really be that happy when there's so many people that's happy in the world. So, but I think that a person would only think that somebody else is not happy if they're not truly happy for whatever reason. And the reason is not important. What's important is how you're feeling. Are you genuinely happy? Because if you're genuinely happy, then you're not thinking somebody else is not. You're just like happy. And you're like just hoping everybody else is. And if you see somebody, you're like, ah, you just unless unless you have those particular gifts where you know space and time doesn't interfere with your vision, then anyway, I don't want to get too deep because I could get deep into metaphysics and then what are we doing? Let's go back to the 80s and talk about this book right here. Let's time travel a little bit, okay? Let's time travel a little bit because it's talking about conditioning of people's mental and how people would suppress their emotions. And I think a lot of people have suppressed their emotions, and I'm at the point because I know how detrimental it is, how unhealthy it is to suppress one's emotions. I don't suppress mine. I don't. I express it. I express them responsibly because I'm responsible for my energy. I'm responsible for how I feel. But I express them. I don't suppress them. I let them out. Shoot, I still got some I gotta dig out. From back in the day when I used to suppress the motherfuckers. Where we carry it at? In our hips, huh? If you don't know, now you know. All right, anyway. Let me keep going. Emotions reflect intentions. Therefore, awareness of emotions leads to awareness of intentions. So it don't matter if it's all polished and it looks good, and it doesn't matter even how much energy you put into making something look polished and good. If it's good, it's gonna look good, polished or unpolished, because it's gonna feel good because my emotion is gonna let me know. And when you are in tune with your emotions will let you know. If you trust your emotions will let you know. But if you don't trust your own emotions, if you're not familiar with your own emotions, you're going to suppress it and be like, nah, So anyway, let's get back to the book. Every discrepancy between a conscious intention and the emotions that accompany it points directly to a splintered aspect of the self that requires healing. If, for example, your intention to marry causes pain instead of joy, following the pain will lead you to unconscious intentions. If your intention to advancing your work causes sorrow instead of satisfaction, following the sorrow will lead you to unconscious intentions. Unconscious intentions. So sometimes people have intentions and are doing things unconsciously because they're not even in tune with their emotions because they've been stuffing and stuffing and stuffing and stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. Without an awareness of your emotions, you are not able to experience reverence. Reverence is not an emotion, it is a way of being. But the path to reverence is through your heart. And only an awareness of your feelings can open your heart. And yes, people are complex. People are complex. People are complex. And people are not always to get along with. But you are not responsible for anybody but yourself. So if you find it challenging to get along with others, the best thing you could do is self-reflect and see why, not judge them. Because again, everybody is doing the best with what they know. Maybe they're not aware of conflict resolution at a different level. Maybe they didn't have the love. Maybe they didn't have the guidance. Maybe they don't know that that's even available or optional to them. They just know what they have experienced. And maybe what they have experienced has been very hard. So they're doing their very best. But what you can pick up and have is reverence. Reverence for them just because they're alive, just because they're breathing. Again, reverence is not an emotion, it is a way of being. But the path to reverence is through your heart. And only an awareness of your feelings, an awareness of your own feelings can open your heart. The higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory personality reveals connections where no connections are apparent to the five sensory personality, and meaning where no meaning is apparent to the five sensory personality. A five sensory personality is not able to process fully the data of its senses. Its perception of reality is segmented. Its experience of the universe is partitioned. That sucks, right? Part of the partition bed. You know, I'm gonna see Beyonce on our legs. So, sorry. It's a trigger word for me. The five sensory personality. That's what it triggers. It triggers Beyonce songs. All right, I'm gonna be serious. I promise. I'm gonna be serious. The five sensory personality can learn that internal dynamics affect perception and formulate this as a folklore or cliche, such as smile and the world smiles with you. It can discover regularities within physical reality and formulate them as laws, such as a body in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it's acted upon by a force. Yet, the five sensory personality is not able to experience the relationships between these domains, and therefore it is not able to learn about one from the other. It is not able to experience the same richness through each, not just one, each. Hence, universe, all united. Science, for example, reflects the divine impulse to become conscious of relationships that connect apparently separate aspects of experience. It is the pinnacle achievement of the five sensory personality. Yet, when the fruits of science are grasped only with the logic and understanding of the five sensory human, internal dynamics, feelings, and intentions appear to be unrelated to the world of matter. Neither supernovas nor subatomic decay rates, nor anything in between appears to be affected by what human beings feel or think. Keyword there, seem. Seems. Seems is not in there. A pair is in there. Let's read this. Let's read this last sentence again of this paragraph. My eyes is watering. I really get sleepy. I told you I was already sleepy. So you're getting raw truth, raw face, raw truth. I'm in my robe. I'm relaxed. Life's good. Um, Neither supernovas. Ooh, excuse me. You ever get that tear? Your eyes ever start to like water when you're sleepy, when your body's just like it's not like a regular tear. It don't just like roll out. It's like tingly a little bit. Like why is a tingly tear coming out of my left eye? That's what's happening here. Why? Why is it happening? The body's like, why are you up doing content? I'm like, cause I said I was gonna do it. I said I was gonna do it. If I go to sleep right now, I'm not gonna wake up until the next day. When I wake up, the sun is gonna be up. So I'm gonna get it done before I go to sleep. All right, back. Last sentence of this paragraph. Neither supernovas nor subatomic decay rates nor anything in between appear, that's the word, not seen, appear to be affected by what human beings feel or think. But our emotions, which is currencies, which is energy and motion, our thoughts, which is energy, does affect a lot of things. When the discoveries of science are comprehended with the logic and understanding of the multi-sensory human, intimate relationships appear between internal dynamics and regulatories that govern physical phenomena. To the multisensory human, for example, a body in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it is acted upon by a force reflects not only a dynamic at work within the realm of time and space and matter, but also a deeper dynamic that works within non physical reality as well. How is this? One of my friends in infantry, officer candidate school, was a tall, affable, and pleasant looking young man from Kentucky named Hank. Ooh, Hank sounds like a tank. No, I'm joking. Hank and I liked each other early on, Several times he lent me his physical strength when my load became too heavy, and I helped him through intellectual obstacles such as calculating artillery trajectories. We shared adventures, and our friendship grew. Oh, you know what? I have not researched Gary Zukov, but Gary Zukov was in the military? Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, let's get back to the book. Upon grad, we shared adventures and our friendship grew. Upon graduation, we were assigned to different organizations. I lost track of Hank until I ran into him in Saigon. He had been wounded and, due to the befriending of an army general, had been assigned to a unit that I came frequently to visit. While serving in Saigon, he met a popular female radio announcer and they became engaged. It seemed a perfect match, a tall, handsome captain and a beautiful and admired public figure. Oh, Hank was a tank. All right, go ahead. I almost lost track of Hank until I had left the army. He called me to say that his wife was coming to make an appearance at a resort near me, and he asked me to meet him there. When I met Hank, now a civilian also, he looked troubled, and his easygoing manner was dampened. He had changed his name to Hal, he told me, and apologized that his wife was unable to join us. We spoke for a while, and when I asked him what he was doing with himself, he said, he told me rather, looking for my place in the sun. The next news that I heard of Hank slash Hal was that he had killed himself. When I later when I was later able to meet his widow, she told me of a painful story of marital difficulties, of Hank's despondency, and of his suicide. In the years immediately following the Vietnam War, the rates of suicides among Vietnam veterans was significantly higher than the rates of suicides among non-veterans. Therefore, it is likely that Hank also was affected adversely by his experiences in Vietnam. Yet, there was also a more common dynamic at work in my friend. Hank was not the kind of person to ask himself deeper questions about his life. He did not inquire into the deeper meaning of his existence upon the earth because that would have caused him to change his life, and he didn't want to do that. He lived his life without much reflection. And one day he awoke to overwhelming emptiness and powerlessness. How does my friend life relate to the first law of motion? A body in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it is acted upon by a force. What does uniform motion mean in the term of a human life? And what is the force that alters that motion? The outward events of Hank's life was not uniform. He grew up on a farm in Kentucky, became a military officer, traveled thousands of miles from his home, married a celebrity, and brought his own life to an end. It was the unconscious quality of the flow of Hank's life that was uniform in its motion. Unconscious quality of the flow of his life. So he wasn't even aware. It was like, okay, I did this, and I'm gonna do this because this is typical, and I'm gonna do this because it's typical of that. Never really even thinking, do I want to do this? How does this feel to me? It was like, no, I'm just gonna do this because this is what you do as an officer. This is what you do. This is what you do. Instead of acting and reflecting, is this what I want to do? Maybe I would be happier back on the farm. Maybe I would be happier doing this. Am I doing what I want to do? He wasn't doing what he wanted to do. So that's what was in uniform motion. Neither the experiences of his childhood, nor his military service, nor his marriage caused him to consider seriously the deeper meaning of his existence. The pains and the joys that flowed through him did not affect his awareness of who he was or what he might become. Excuse me. Hank did not allow himself to follow the experiences of his life to their roots. On the contrary, he feared such a pursuit. As a result, his life flowed uniformly unaware, uniformly unconscious, from its incarnation to its release. He experienced the situations that was necessary to the balancing of the energy of his soul. He responded to them in accordance with the conditioning that he had acquired through the karma of his soul and the environment into which he was born. And he created more karma unconsciously with each response. Let's pause here for a moment. So, this book is really going into a lot, and it is allowing me to be filled with even more gratitude. Like, I remember the experience that I had when I was literally crossing the street en route to school, and I slipped and I fell, and my right hip completely popped out of my pelvis, and it seemed like a very it wasn't, it seemed like a very painful, it was a very physically painful experience. But the experience that I had very shortly afterwards, after I went to I mean, just immediately after was honestly, there were people, I don't know where these people came from, that helped me up, propped me on the light post. I was not there 15, 20 minutes. I was not even there 2 minutes. Just immediately there was a cop car coming. Soon as they propped me up, the cop car was turning the corner. They stopped the cop car. The cop car stopped for them. They explained to them what had happened to me. The cops put me into the car. They took me to the hospital. They did emergency surgery the same day. After the emergency surgery, they put me in a place called New York Foundling Hospital, where I was with a whole bunch of young people. And I didn't even know that it was a whole bunch of young people like this. There were young people who had strokes. There were young people that had cerebral palsy. There were young people with MS. It was so many different physically disabled young people in this facility that I was there for the rehabilitation of my legs, but they had conditions, some of them had conditions that they would never rehabilitate from. And one of my roommates, I will never forget this soul, her name was Shirley. Shirley could not audibly at that point in time speak, and she didn't really have control. So the staff said, over her limbs. She did have control over her head. So she had this special wheelchair that she would control with her head. Go forward, sideways, whatever. But Shirley was a girl like me, and we were Shirley was actually a little older than me, and even though whatever physical disability she had, I forget what it was, but she still had female stuff going on with her. So we would be like a wreck together. There was these moments, and we would see a cute guy, and we would just look at each other, and we would just laugh because we could communicate with, even though she couldn't formulate her words like I formulate my words, we could still communicate with each other. And so we communicated with each other, and we laughed. We looked at guys together. There was other people, went through regular shit, like regular teenage girl shit. It was this other girl in there who, was like bossy type shit, and Shirley wasn't for it. And I seen Shirley smack the shit out of her. Now, how the fuck does excuse my language, how the fuck does somebody smack somebody when this person doesn't have control over their limbs? Somehow, somehow she smacked, and I'm not talking about a front smack, okay? She didn't smack her like bomb. She smacked her like bomb with the back of her head and shut her up real quick. It did notice, and I seen her, because I was there. I seen the whole interaction. I saw the girl being a bully and shit, talking shit, and Shirley was like, bomb, like she just was like, shut the fuck up type shit. And then this was not in the rec room, so there was no staff in there. We was by ourselves, like watching TV or something. Maybe in one of our rooms. It wasn't me and Shirley's room, but it was another room. But anyway, like the staff came because the girl now is crying, "Ah!" And Shirley is just acting like like her legs is just going out of control. They're like, she didn't mean it. She didn't mean it. She's sorry. She didn't mean it. But that girl knew she meant it. Shirley knew she meant it. And I for sure knew that Shirley meant it. So that experience was so valuable to me because what I got to see was that, like, just because somebody is physically different doesn't mean that they're not experiencing regular schmegula emotions that I'm feeling. So it took me off of what I may have been on a pedestal or egotistical place because it's like, shh, I'm athletic, shh, I'm smart. I had nothing to balance that ego that was growing, except for that accident. And it balanced that. It took the ego completely out. It was like ego, schmigo, psh. Especially the fact that my athleticness was put on pause for decades. Okay, decades. Okay, it was like, oh, no more dancing. Oh, no more varsity basketball. Oh, no more track. Oh, nope, all you got is your intelligence right now. It was like, shit, that shit ain't even worth shit in the hood. At least I didn't think it was then. It is definitely, intellect is definitely invaluable, people. If you got some, cool. If you don't, it's okay. That's you. Do the best of what you got. But it has definitely served me. I was young. I was young. And so nobody wanted to have deep intellectual conversations. It was like, what? No, smoke a blunt. Shut up. Maybe after the blunt, they might want to say, yeah, I wondered about that. And then they forget about the whole fucking conversation. So again, I wasn't in those circles of deep intellectual conversations at that point in time. It was not the Mensa Society. It was the hood. And I didn't have that support. But that lesson was invaluable. That lesson was invaluable. But it seems like Hank didn't have that. So the point I'm making is that I had the opportunity to ask those deeper questions, like, because I couldn't understand why that had happened. Like, I was not doing nothing. I was doing all the stuff that I was supposed to do. Why would I freaking, in the middle of, before I even got to high school, freaking have such a traumatizing accident, but then have such an awakening experience? And then have to go back into society now with this awakeness and still function. Like, as a teenager. That's a lot. That's because my soul was old. That's why. That's one of the reasons why. My soul was old. But anyway. Let's see. Where we at? Where we at? The compassion. I'm gonna go to this last sentence in this paragraph. Excuse me. The pains and joys that flowed through him did not affect his awareness of who he was or what he might become. Hank did not allow himself to follow the experiences of his life to their roots. He didn't even ask the questions. It was just like he just went along with the flow. That was the uniform. The flow was just going. So because there was no force, you see the force happening to me, I would have been going too. What? Pretty girl, talented, athletic, smart. Why would I have stopped to ask anything? Besides maybe something intellectually that interests me, but would I have gone philosophical? Will I have gone spiritual? As deep as I am now, if I didn't have those different experiences? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. I'd be already in my mansion. thinking, I'm not affected by low income people's problems. Now when I get to my mansion, I'll have a different attitude. I'll be like, we are all one. What can I do to serve? What group of inner city girls or boys or youth am I gonna house at my mansion during the summer? How am I gonna staff, this summer camp to expose them to different than what they see on a regular basis and let them know they have an option in life. You can choose what you want in life. If their parents is not telling them that they have choices, let me be a force to let them know you got choices. Let me produce something that let them know they have choices. Okay? It's gonna be a whole different. Now I'm still gonna be up in the motherfucker. I'm still gonna be up in the motherfucker. Y'all gonna see it. Cause you gonna see my little background gonna be different. You see my little background right there. My son put that up there. I told him to use some little nails, and he grabbed the biggest nails in the god dang on drawer and put that thing up there. So it's been up there. It was only supposed to be up there temporary, but now it's permanent until I relocate. Hopefully into my mansion, but if I don't go directly from here to there, I'm pretty sure whatever steps is necessary for my growth and for my development and for me to be more soulfully conscious and aware and to serve at my best from my overflow. So let's get back to Hank, because there's some things about Hank. Hank touched his life. Hank touched Gary's life. So even though Hank did not sit down to ask himself those deeper questions, Gary did. Gary did, and he wrote a book about it. Okay, let me keep on going. Okay. Hank did not allow himself to follow the experiences of his life to their roots. On the contrary, he feared such a pursuit because he didn't want to change what was happening in his life. It wasn't like a force came and made him change the shit. He was like, shit is good. I got a good job. I got good money. I done married this celebrity. Why would I change this? But it's more to life than just what's on the outside. You can have that stuff, but you should still know who the heck you are at the soul level, because that allows you to utilize that stuff so much more efficiently. It's not just you have it to have or to be over anybody. You have it so that you can serve and give. And I know I'm not the only person with this perception, but at this point, in particular point in my life, I feel the more you have, the more you should serve. The more you serve, the more you should have. Now, not everybody thinks that way, but I do. I do. Because I feel you should always serve from your overflow. So you shouldn't deplete your cup. You gotta make sure your cup is full before you can be of service to somebody else. When your cup is full and it's overflowing, how many people can you serve? Many. And it really doesn't matter the number. It matters the efficiency of the service, because some people can just very briefly spark deeper awareness and remind you of the divinity inside of you, because they are aware of the divinity inside of them. And I feel babies are aware, and I feel like animals are aware too. They know they know that they are part of this amazing, spectacular cosmic force. Like, they're not trying to dominate that force. They're not trying to box that force. They're just like, hey, I'm gonna be the best whatever I am and enjoy it. And I'm just gonna do whatever feels natural to me. So anyway, let's get back to the book. All right. So as a result, because he feared such a pursuit, as a result, his life flowed uniformly unaware, uniformly unconscious, from his incarnation to his release. I feel like I read this already, but I'm going to read it again. He experienced the situations that was necessary, yep, I did, to the balancing of the energy of his soul. He responded to them in accordance with the conditioning that he had acquired through the karma of his soul and the environment into which he was born. And he created more karma unconsciously with each response. The compassion that Hank brought into the world nurtured many people around him, including me, but he did not allow it to become his center of gravity. Hank made no effort to move towards his soul. He spent his life attempting to fulfill the wants of his personality. Excuse me. And he became too attached to those wants to attempt to change them. Thus, Hank's life was a body in uniform motion that never encountered a force. How lucky was I to encounter so many forces? Oh, shit. Anyway, what is the force that Hank's life did not encounter? Gregory, we go from Hank to Gregory so quick. All right, we talk about Gregory now. That's literally what it just did. Like, literally just what happened. Where's the sentence? Right here. What? Can y'all see this clearly? What is the force that Hank did not encounter? And then the next sentence says Gregory. I guess we both got to find out who the heck Gregory is. Gregory was a white, middle-class, college-educated man from the Northeast. His childhood was emotionally difficult, but he grew up angry, manipulative, and bitter. He was incapable of forming relationships, and his violent temper and argumentative nature kept people at a distance. This further increased Gregory's disdain for life and for other people, but he did not stop to ask what role he played in his experiences. When at last his temper and his disagreeable disposition caused the woman that he was living with to leave, Gregory fell into a deep anguish, not only because of his loss, but also because he recognized in this latest event the repetition of a long-standing pattern in which he found himself in each instant, suffering from rejection. He determined to confront both his pain and his pattern. He made arrangements to live in solitude while he searched within himself for the deepest causes of his painful life. When he emerged weeks later, both his perceptions and values had changed. He began to soften, and slowly his old mannerisms dropped away. Over the following years, he developed a more sensitive way of being with people. His cynicism gave way to an emerging joy. His anger melted, and other people became central to his life. He is a productive person now, and he draws his strength from the contribution that he makes to his fellows. These changes did not come easy to Gregory. He transitioned from an angry, manipulative, disdainful person to a more caring and considerate person. His transition from, let me do that again, from an angry, manipulative, disdainful person to a more caring and considerate person was a journey through pain that required much courage. Yet, by committing himself to that journey, he changed his life. From the point of view of Gregory's consciousness, the uniform flow of Gregory's life was altered significantly by his determination to confront his pain. He was altered further by his determination to cultivate his new perceptions. The force that altered the uniform motion of Gregory's life was his decision to enter into his life consciously. Without this decision, Gregory's life would have continued, as did Hank's, on the unconscious course that his karma and his responses to the situations that it generated would have created for him. Is it appropriate to interpret the first law of motion, which depicts the idealized movement of a physical object, in this way? Is the first law of motion, when it is interpreted in this way, merely a metaphor that is conveniently serves to describe a non-physical dynamic? Is it more than that? Is it the reflection in physical reality? In the world of physical objects and phenomena, or of a larger non-physical dynamic at work in non-physical domains? This is the physics of the soul. When science and its discoveries are understood with the higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory human, they reveal the same richness that life itself displays everywhere and endlessly. The perception of the multisensory personality is not segmented. Oh no, it's together, baby. It's together. That's why you get all of these things when you get the matcha, here on the Super Tea Podcast Show. That's why you get it all. You get a piece of my universe. I share a piece of my universe. The funny parts, the in-depth, soulful, spiritual, lighthearted, serious, all of that. You get all of that because it's all existing. It's all existing and it's all connected. We all are connected too, but that's another conversation for another time, perhaps. The perception of the multisensory personality is not segmented. The multisensory human, for example, sees that the paradigms which form the history of science also reveal a history of the way that our species has seen itself in relation to the universe. Tolmaniac? I don't know what the hell this word is, okay? It's a P and a T, okay? I know a P and a H is an F sound. And I don't know what the hell a P and T. It looks like Ptolematic. Ptolematic. Oh, maybe that's it. Ptolematic. I might be butchering it up. Astronomy. I feel like going to Google right now, but I'm on the phone, so I'll go to Google afterwards. If I butchered that word, I'm gonna spell it for you. Ptolemac. Okay? Alright? That word. Looks like Ptolemac. I butcher words, because I do. I do. Okay. If you want to know the whole truth, with all the intellect and all the spirituality that there is, okay? Shortly after that accident that I described, that was so phenomenal that it touched me with deeper meanings of existence and looking at things from a deeper level and realizing people with physical differences were still the same underneath. Yeah, shortly after that, I became a mama. Mm-hmm. So I ain't had time to finish, my schooling. This is why I'm in school right now, okay? Because I had to go back. I went back a couple of times, but the momming, kind of, But now, since he's an adult, even though I'm still momming, I have time to go back. So judge me if you want to. I'm brutally honest with myself. So your opinion of me is your business. It's your business. Your business. Ain't none of my business, okay? But it's good for people to see just somebody just being themselves so they can feel more comfortable just being themselves and don't be so worried about, oh, this person's going to think this and they're going to think that. I don't give a shoot what you think, honey. I just want you to be your best you. And I'm going to be my best me at all times. It's not to compare or to contrast. It is just to be. So just be. You happy? Good. I'm happy too. I ain't perfect. You ain't perfect. I don't think perfection exists yet. because if it did, we wouldn't be having those issues that we're having in our nation right now, right? Can we get there? Yes, we can. That's what my president said. My President Obama said, yes, we can. We can get there. But it's going to take time. Let's get back to the book, though. I'll take my silly antics out for a second. So, astronomy, that P word, astronomy reflects a species that sees itself as the center of the universe. Oh, this no. I'm like, what's the difference? Astronomy is astronomy. There's different types of astronomy. I didn't even know there was different types of astronomy. I don't even know. I thought astronomy just was studying the stars and the positions of the planets, and these different planets have energetic things that influence it. I don't even know. So apparently, I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it, and if I'm saying it wrong, oh freaking well, I'll figure it out. But right now, we are live. And obviously, I didn't read this beforehand. This is not rehearsed. None of this shit is rehearsed. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that I won't get a script, and as the show evolves, and I actually have like a production team actually go buy a script, and actually have how we having the cards, and on the cards, look at my card I made. I even got words because I interviewed somebody. Keisha has a master's degree. She's the CEO and co-founder of I'm gonna have my talk show. I'm gonna have it. This is gonna be the name of it, the SupaTeaPodcast Show. Okay, I'm coming, Jaya. I'm coming. All of y'all, Oprah, thank you for paving the way for us, girl. Sherry, all of y'all. Do y'all have a talk show forum? Like, is there a talk show group? Is there like a talk show union? But this was my little place card that I made. And yeah, I did put this because I interviewed somebody, and I kept it. I kept it. I was gonna do it on every talk show, even without having things actually there. But the Super Tea podcast show is cute, right? I can't wait till it's like syndicated. We're gonna have fun with these moments. You're gonna be like, look at where I started 20 years ago, right here in my. I ain't gonna say what it is. I'll say it then. But right there in my place with a microphone that wasn't even plugged up to anything. It was just on the island of the kitchen. And now, you get to see me live on my own personal island. Is that too lofty? I just want more to do more. Okay. So I'm happy with what I have. And I do much with what I have. You don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even want to know. What I did was just a little tiny bit. Teeny tiny bit. All right. So the more I'll do. The more I have, the more I 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 do. Okay. I didn't know. I'll be excited to learn stuff. I didn't know that there were two types of astronomy. So there's I'm gonna say it like this. Ptolemaic. Ptolemaic, I feel like the P is silent because the P be being silent sometimes. I don't know why it'd be a silent P and shit. Like, why is it there? What's the purpose? Why can't you just put an F? What's the point of putting a PH instead of an F? I don't get it. But anyway, I don't know if this P is silent or not. We're going to pretend that it is. Ptolemaic astronomy. There's a P there, though, people. There is a P. You may know what it is. Can you see it? P-T. There. But I'm going to pretend the P is silent. And then I'm going to check immediately after this broadcast to see if I said the word correctly. Thank you, Google, for letting people know. I need to, kudos to Google. Ptolemaic astronomy, let's get back to the book, reflects a species that sees itself as the center of the universe. Copernican? It's not Cooper because there's only one O. But the O, All right, Copernican astronomy. It's hard to see that it's just one O because it has a hyphen and the word doesn't continue on that line. It goes to the other line, and I just want to assume that since there's a PER after the CO, that there's another O, but there isn't. Copernican. Copernican. I'm probably butchering that word too. This is the night of the butchered words. Copernican astronomy reflects a more sophisticated and interdependent perspective of the species that recognizes itself as a part of the motion of the universe. Newtonian, I know that word. I know that word. Newtonian physics reflects a species that is confident in its ability to grasp the dynamics of the physical world through the intellect. Relativity reflects a species that understands the limiting relationship between the absolute and personalized perceptions of it. And quantum physics, well, I like quantum physics. Reflects a species that is becoming aware of the relationship of its consciousness to the physical world. In other words, from the point of view of the multisensory human, the discoveries of science illuminate both inner and outer experiences, physical and non physical dynamics. A foundational discovery of optics, for example, is what white and black are not colors, like blue, green, and red. White is a combination of all the colors of the visible spectrum of light, and black is the absence of that spectrum, and therefore of white as well. In other words, white is an integration of all the visible forms of radiance, and black is the absence of radiance. This is science, people. This is not actual, okay? This is, this is not actual. Because actually, this melanin that what's the word I'm looking for? Thrives off of illumination, especially the illumination of the sun, natural lights, like doesn't sizzle and natural light, but gets more deeper. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on going. It's Black History Month. I had to hold up from the flag at. You need to see my flag. Where the flag at? My flag is up all here. Don't mind my mess. My chessboard. You can't even see my chessboard. But back to the people. And as you can see, I'm multi-shades. This is officially my winter color, and in the summertime I am not this pale. I'm not this pale, damn. Let's get back to the book. In other words, white is an integration of all the visible. This is this scientific stuff. Form of radiance, and black is that. Black ain't no absence of radiant. I'm not gonna say it because it's not true. Even though it's a scientific whatever, it ain't true. What non-physical dynamics does this discovery illuminate? We associate white with purity, goodness, and rightness. Well, now we get into the psychology. It's about to get very interesting now. White is the symbol of positive and protective energy. We dress heroes and heroines in white. White represents wholeness of spirit. We associate God messengers in heaven with white. We picture angels in robes of white. We associate black with evil. We dress villains in black. Black is the symbol of destruction. When catastrophe strikes, we call it a Black Day. Black represents what? This is what y'all be thinking? This is what y'all was thinking back in 1989? No wonder this shit is out of whack. Let me get back. We say the Dark Ages. were a time when the light of reason was absent. We call the suffering of a splintered psyche a psyche without radiance, the dark night of the soul. We call the devil the prince of darkness, and we think of hell as a place where the light of God does not reach. It is the perception of white as an integration or completion and black as an absence, therefore limited in accuracy or applicability to the physical phenomena of white light, blackness? No. Language, mythology, religion, and science each recognize in white a reflection of integration or wholeness or completion, and in black a reflection of the absence of this. The multisensory personality sees directly that each of these ways of understanding reflects the same thing. The multi-sensory personality sees light or sees divinity or God or divine intelligence or whatever word it chooses to use for this as light. It sees those through whom divinity flows consciously, such as the Christ, the Buddha, the Krishna, as beings of light, beings of wholeness, integration, and completeness. Therefore, it sees in the white of science a reflection in time and space and matter of the wholeness, integration, and perfection of timeless divinity. It sees evil, anger, despair, destruction, and rage as the absence of light. Therefore, it sees in the black of science a reflection in the world of physical phenomena of incompleteness, of the absence of light. Ooh, this is old metaphysics. The multisensory personality sees, but it's good to see how we got to where we are. Programming, a freaking programming, because of how people have associated not just with the color of their skin, but with science, with religion. What the fuck did this shit say? Let's go back. Let's go. Let's rewind it. Language, mythology, religion, and science each recognize we need to fix this shit. We need to unscramble this shit. This is why this shit's scrambled up. Because they've been programmed to think this foolishness. And but we have seen it. We have seen it. We have seen it. You know, it's just we see different now. We see more now. We see more in depth now. Obviously, we're in 2025. We're no longer in 1989 when this book was published. Um, but we see what was being projected, and it wasn't just being projected then. It was okay. We're talking about mythology, so that was a long time ago. I'm so glad we out of that old age. Oh, I'm so glad we out of that old age. It's been such a, and I ain't gonna go too far ahead of you, you know. But it was such an interesting experience to come into to incarnate, to come into the flesh at the end of an age, right before the beginning of a new age begins, and know that you're here for the new age. But you had to experience the old age because you have to now, um, as you become more of yourself, more in tune with your own soul, you have to be the example for those who are here in the new age and give them the opportunity to benefit from the new age. Like let it go, you know? Let it go. Because yeah, that's how I know I'm old and I'm from a whole nother place. Because in reality, darkness is not the absence of light. Darkness is actually more uh, more concentration of light. Um, that's the best way I could do it and say it in this tongue, in this language. The multisensory personality sees the same ships, each reflecting the same world wherever it looks. Like I said, mythology, religion, science. Damn. Um, the five sensory personality cannot see in this way, and therefore its logics and understandings are not as comprehensive. The nature of wholeness and the lack of it, and the effects of each, are not discernible through the study of physical phenomena to a personality that is not able to see that both physical phenomena and the relationships between them are simultaneously parts of and reflections of a larger pattern of life. A personality is time to disrupt those patterns. That's what's happening now. Those patterns, those old patterns are disrupting. New patterns are emerging. A personality that is not whole lives in a state of splinteredness as represented by individual colors. Individual colors are splintered or combinations of them. A personality that is not splintered lives in a state of wholeness as represented by white light. Why would white light be a state of wholeness? Wouldn't yin yang be more of wholeness? And to me, that's more whole than a white light. A personality that loses touch with his soul, that loses the source of its light, is a personality that has become capable of what we call evil. Okay, so now I see where they at. So here, at this point in time when this book was authored by this amazing person, they looked at the soul as being the source. But in true, it's divinity that is the source. The soul is just a part of the whole, but it ain't the whole, obviously, because the personality is another part. So there's many parts. And I believe that is the Trinity, the true Trinity. The divinity, that's divine. I mean, there's a lot of trinities, right? But here's one that just came to me just now. The divine, which is cosmic energy, the soul, which is what is eternal, and the personality. Then there's aspects of the personality. It's like three and three and three and three and three and three. 369, bitch, 369. Let me stop. Let me keep going. All right. Um, a personality that loses touch with his soul, that loses the source of his light, is a personality that has become capable of what we call evil as represented by blackness. What? What? What does it just say? I don't believe that. I don't believe evil is represented by blackness. But then, see, again, this was written the during the old age. Best way to, I guess, prepare for the new age, um, with what they were aware of. So they still was like into the whole cause and effect. I'm not saying cause and effect is not an actual universal law, but there's levels, you know. Um, just like there's levels to school. You know, you start in kindergarten and you end up in and studying for your PhD. You go through these different stages, right? So yeah. Um, is there evil? Is there good? Or is there just what it is? Those are questions for you to ponder deeper. We're not going to get too deep in this book because this book is where it's at. And I'm sharing it for a reason because, again, you're not just going to wake up in a new age and know everything. You're going to need to kind of dismantle the old stuff before you could even accept the fact that you're in a new age and stage, you know? So, anyway, back. What we call evil is the absence of light, of love in all cases. When we speak poetically of light, We associate it with purity, insight, and divine inspiration. Isn't this explaining a lot, though, about the psyches and the personalities of individuals? If you have associated this positive energy with a color, and thank God for the rainbow, because, like, what? And then you're going to say that this, that, that this is all the colors combined? How did you, who said that? Said. Who said that? I want to know who said it. I want to know who. Who? Who? Who said that this is all the colors combined? Because I don't know about you, but I like to color, okay? And I remember, being told to color in the lines and yada, yada, yada. But I also remember things like putting together yellow and blue and making green. Wow, that's cool. I also remember putting together not purple, red and blue and making purple. Wow. And I'm going to do something right now. We're going to do something right now because they tried to say this is the combination of all the colors of the rainbow. But we're going to try something right now. We're going to get different colors. I'm going to get red and I'm going to get a purple. And they not even the same type of thing. This is a paint stick, okay? It's not really paint. It's more like a crayon. And this is a highlighter. And I'm just going to right here in front of you so you know. I'm doing no slick shit. I'm going to take this right here, right? And I'm going to color this right here. Just like that. See that? See? That's the red. That's the red. And then I'm going to combine this purple highlighter on it, right? I'm going to combine this purple highlighter on it. And it's going to go right on top of it. I don't know if this highlighter has any juice in it. It might not. What it's looking like. This highlighter is dry. Oh, it got a little bit. You got some juice? Not much. Let's find something else. Let's find something else. I think I found another purple. Something else that's purple. Let's test this one out before I put it on top of it this time. Okay, this got something in it. So let's just go over this. Go over it. And I need the same thing. So let's go over it. Okay, it's a little different. I feel like I just spreaded it, but it's a little different. It doesn't look exactly the same because I guess because of the texture of that. These things are just dry. Period. Okay. Let's see. I didn't know it was going to be coloring for those people. But here we are. The point I'm making here, because I know I'm not the only one who's done it, is that when you take colors, obviously the colors need to be the same type of texture because something that's oily is going to not really mix well with something that's water. Oil and water doesn't really mix well. This was an oil base and this other stuff was water based and it wasn't enough juice. So it was a little bit dry. But the point is that when you, let's see if I can find something that is, this is blue. Let's do blue. I think blue, even though it's wet too. And it's going to be tricky doing this up in the air like this because of gravity. Sorry. The point is, if you get some crayons and you take the crayons and you put all the damn crayons together, guess what's going to happen? It ain't going to be this. It is not going to be that. It's not. It's not. It's going to be more like this. This is what happens if you take all the crayons. They're gonna look like this. They're gonna look like that if you put them all together. If you put the purple crayon and the green crayon and the orange. You put them all together into one because I did it. I've done it. I've done it, I've done it, I've done it. I've put all the colors together. You put all the colors together, they do not look like this. They look the opposite of that. So I just had to because what? But now you know. Now we know why. Why does people think that they're superior than other people when the sun literally burns their skin? Why do they think that? Where did they get that from? They were programmed for thousands of years that way. Not just that them as a people is that way, but through the language, religion. What does it say? Religion, mythology, religion, and science? Well, duh. If you freaking programmed with science and religion for thousands of freaking years that white is the combination of all the colors and radiance, if you associate that with heaven, if you associate, what a program. What a fucking program. Of course, no wonder. Poor babies. Also, sorry, babies. No, it wasn't right. You just, if you don't believe me, get some crayons and just put them all together and see what it looks like. It's not gonna look like, it's not gonna look white. It's not gonna look like that. If you take all the colors and you put them together yourself, it's not gonna look white. So no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that has been the programming for thousands of years, maybe more. But it's not right. It's not right. So let's continue in the book. Mm. I'm on another page, right? What we call evil is the absence of light, of love in all cases. When we speak poetically of light, we associate it with purity, insight, and divine inspiration. As we shall see, this type of light is not merely poetical, it's real. What? It seems a bit biased. It seems as if they're saying light is right and dark is wrong. This is what it sounds like. I don't know if it sounds like that to you. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. We gotta get through this chapter. We're almost done. We're here right now. Um, we're on page 70. You see it? You see it there? And this goes to page 73, and then we'll read out this chapter. But doesn't this explain a lot? Like we was all metaphysical and science and soul, and then we're talking about the heart. I didn't hear nothing about a chakra yet. And granted, again, this was what, over 40 years ago? Well, almost 40 years ago, but no, it was over 40. Well, no, like 3 years. Damn near 40 years ago. They didn't talk about a chakra. They mentioned currency. They mentioned energy. But then they're like, light is divine. And if they would have just kept it there, I would have been like, okay. But then they contrasted, and then they mentioned how the contrast of light and dark is applicable to black and white, and how white is perceived to be all colors together. And which gives it as if it's right and black as if it's wrong. Oh, baby. Not in Black History Month. Not here. Not on this Indigenous Women's channel. No, we not. I'm not gonna act like I agree with this bullshit. With this bullshit. Now, when it's telling the truth, we gonna be, yes, this is right. But that's wrong, Gary. That wasn't right. But we offer you grace. We offer you grace. We offer you forgiveness because we get that you were just following a program as you were journeying in your soul path. And we thank you. We thank you for the work that you have done, the work that you are doing. Um, we'll take it from here. What? It's not real, what he said, people. This is just his perception. This is Gary's perception. Excuse me. A soul can find it difficult to walk the way of light through the course of an incarnation. It can find that learning to love in light is a difficult sojourn through the choices that it makes while it is incarnate upon the earth. The choice of anger instead of forgiveness, for example, or condemnation instead of understanding. See, I understand. I understand why that perception of superiority is so deeply ingrained. I get it. Like, I get it now. I didn't even get it before. Like, before I just was like, you know, wow, I do now. I'm choosing forgiveness, and I forgive you for for some of the misinformation, because not all misinformation, just some, just some. But it's so timely. Do you see the timeliness? Because we don't need to be conflicting with each other over um, old perceptions. We need to understand why people behave the way they behave. And a lot of people behave the way that they behave because of the social constructs. And when something has been constructed for thousands of years, we can't expect it to just poof and be gone. It's going to take time. It's going to take awareness for that to happen. And I'm grateful to be here at this point in time, incarnated, choosing forgiveness, choosing understanding, comprehending why people of what will be considered white um, feel the way that they do, because it has been intertwined into these major structural systems. Religion is a structural system. Science is a structural system. Like, it's the foundation. It's the structure of a whole bunch of stuff. It's where this is where a whole bunch of other stuff is built off of. So if the structure, the foundation ain't right, how the heck you gonna build right on that? It's gonna be some type of fault with the systems if the foundation of the systems is not precise. And there was a little precision that was missed. But let's continue. Let's see what else Gary has to say. A soul accumulates negative karma if it chooses anger instead of forgiveness. Ooh, so what kind of karma did I just accumulate just now? Good karma? You got a lot of good karma. Maybe I didn't even know that's what I was looking at, but I hear. All right. As the soul leaves the body, it remains enveloped with the quality of light that it acquired through the choices that it made while it was upon the earth. When the soul has to create another personality, it will have to create a personality that is drawn from this as well. Therefore, it will create a personality of more limitations. A personality with limitations of consciousness will find what we call evil more attractive than will one with a more expanded awareness. The temptation to walk that way will be strong for such a personality. All souls are tempted, but an individual with limitations of consciousness will find it more attractive to walk into the magnetic field of fear because it would not recognize fear for what it is. It would accept it as something else, as something that is normal to life. How we understand evil, therefore, is very significant. Evil needs to be understood for what it is. The dynamic, whoa, hold up, hold up. I thought we were talking about the heart. Hold up, how did we get to this part? Hold up, what? Sir, what? The title of this chapter, look, I'm gonna bring it close to the camera. The title is this. We didn't talk about the heart chakra at all. We talked about the heart like very vague in the beginning of the chapter. And then the chapter dived into this program that I just don't feel comfortable reiterating, but in the spirit of diplomacy, I'm going to continue to read this because I feel it is very, very crucial to the explanation because we're like, why these people do this stuff? Why these people want to murder people and do violent stuff to people? Why is that their nature? But they feel they're right. They feel it's the right thing to do because they have associated uh, positive energy with something that is with a color. So that's why they've done it for thousands of freaking years. And now they're saying that evil is the absence of light. But how can you be whole and not have darkness? All right. Like you were born in darkness. Like there's no lights while you're forming in your mother's womb. So you just say you were forming in evilness? She wasn't forming in evilness. It just was no light. The absence of light is not evil. It's just the absence of light. You turn on the light, boom. Light is not right. Light can be used to describe seeing something clearly because you really can't see too much in the dark, but that doesn't mean that the darkness is bad or evil because you can't see in it. Because there's some people that walk around blind. So are blind people evil because they can't see light? Light is absent from their optic nerves. Are they evil? Are blind people evil? No. Let's continue with Gary's thoughts. Those are my thoughts. You know you're going to get my thoughts because I'm reading the book. Okay. So, let's continue. Gary says here on page 70 of the Heart chapter in his book, Seed of the Soul, he is defining what evil is. This is his definition. This is his perception of what evil is. It's not something that one should prepare to battle, to run from, or to outlaw. Understanding evil as the absence of light automatically requires that we reach for this thing called light. Conscious light is equal to divinity. Oh my God. Those. Okay. We cannot box something that's incomprehensible. Divinity is incomprehensible. You cannot put divinity into a box. You can try, but it doesn't work. First of all, it probably would fit better into a circle or a globe, but that's also restricting it. So, yeah. Divine intelligence is conscious light, according to Gary Suka. Um, to divine intelligence, where there is an absence of, how can divine intelligence be absent anywhere? It's omnipotent, it's everywhere at the same place at the same time. How can it be absent anywhere? You're just not aware of it. That's accurate. Having unawareness does not equate to absence. It just means you don't know it's there because you're not aware. Because that's what that means. Divine intelligence is everywhere. It's not the absence of anything. Because how can something that's everywhere be absent? Can't be. Can't be. If it's present everywhere. It's omnipotent. It's everywhere at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Um, what a mix here. What a mix. What a mix and what a way to infiltrate. Oh my goodness. Ooh. We're clearing it up though. This is just a perception. Okay. I'm gonna share with you my perception and you decide what makes more sense to you. You decide that, okay? All right. Where there, this is what it says. I'm gonna read it. I don't believe it. I don't believe this what I'm about to read. Okay, it's not true to me, and my perception. This is not true. We got very weird a couple of pages ago, and I made it. You see my reaction. It's very clear. Zach. His name's Zach. I keep on want to call him Zach. It's Zukav. Zukav. What's going on, Zukav? Let me just keep on going on. Ooh, what a programming, right? Science. That's programming is in science. And this is why I be getting on CERN as, excuse my language, CERN. You know, they came into my awareness maybe about a couple of weeks ago. They messing with some things they weren't supposed to be messing with. And I was like, what y'all doing over there? What cut it out. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. And not to be dictated, but like just to kind of spark, like, I need you to think a little more. Like, you have no comprehension completely. And it's okay to explore. It's okay to explore. Like, I welcome intelligence and exploration and science. But you are like experimenting with stuff that could affect you and your children, and not the way you may want them to be affected by it. You crossing dimensions and shit and mixing shit up and shit. You're like having a whole fucking Spider-Man situation for real. Like that shit. Did y'all see the Spider-Man with the multi-dimensional motherfuckers? Did y'all see that shit? They got a machine like that for real, motherfuckers. They got a real shit over there in Switzerland, some goddamn motherfucker where these motherfuckers is really zapping shit and mixing shit and opening up shit and don't know what the fuck they doing. We don't know what the fuck is coming through the shits. What the fuck is leaving through the motherfuckers? I'm like, what y'all over there doing? Just relax. Y'all want something to do? Go bring some motherfucking water to fucking Mars, okay? Go bring some seeds over there and see if this shit will grow. See if you can regerminate that shit. Do something constructive with the science. Don't be over there fiddling and shit with shit you don't got no business doing. You know? But you think you can fiddle with shit because, you know, it's light. it's light, so it's in the science of lightness. It's in the lights. All right, I'm gonna keep going. It's simple that there is darkness. It is simply that there is darkness, and we stumble. Who stumbles in the darkness? The existence in darkness is not permanent. Each soul will eventually be fully enlightened. A soul with no light will always come to no light because there is so much assistance provided to each soul at all times. Okay, it's coming back, y'all. It's coming back. This is a mixture of stuff here. There is much light, as we shall see, that is continually surrounding such a soul, even though it may not be able to directly penetrate it. Oh, God. And there is much assistance for souls that insist upon living in darkness. The encouragement is to take even one thought into light is always available. Eventually, they always do. Understanding that evil is the absence of light does not mean that it is inappropriate to respond to evil. What is the appropriate response to evil? This should be interesting. The remedy for an absence is a presence. Evil is an absence, and therefore it cannot be healed with an absence. By hating evil or one who is engaged in evil, you contribute to the absence of light and not to its presence. Hatred of evil does not diminish evil, it increases it. Okay. I feel like I'm reading the Bible now and their parables and shit. The absence of light causes the personality to suffer. Now I gotta dissect it and redigest it and, chew it up and then spit it back out the way it's supposed to be. Or in a way that is easier to digest. I'm gonna keep going now. I'm gonna keep going. The absence of light causes the personality to suffer. There is pain. When you hate, you bring that suffering upon yourself. Hatred of evil affects the one who hates. It makes him or her a hateful person, a person who also has absented himself or herself from the light. Understanding evil as the absence of light does not require you to become passive or to disregard evil actions or evil behavior. If you see a child being abused or a person or people being oppressed, for example, it's appropriate that you do what you can to protect the child or to aid the people. But if there's no compassion in your heart also for those who abuse and oppress, for those who have no compassion, do you not become like them? Compassion is being moved to and by acts of the heart. He has gotten back to the heart. Hallelujah. Because I don't know where he went for a second. I don't know. I don't know where Gary went, but it was not a comfortable space. He went he went into his own um, privilege and ideology. It was just very like and really not sensitive to other things. I mean, if you're going to talk about universal knowledge, if you're going to talk about the soul, then you have to talk about wholeness. You can't just, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but the point is how how would that be perceived if another individual was reading this who wasn't actually already at a certain level of consciousness, they might have closed this book. They might have said, you know what, I ain't even read it no more because what the fuck is Gary talking about right now? We were supposed to be talking about the heart. I thought we was gonna go like into the heart chakra. We were talking about currency. We seemed like we was on quantum physics. So you start talking about other science, and then you said that white is such and such good, 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 good. And black is but bad, bad, bad. You said this, sir, in this right here in this chapter right here. I could go back and read it, but I ain't going to. Because they all heard it. I synced it. You wrote it. They edited it and they published it. Huh? But I get it. You're just explaining what has been. And it's important to know what has been because it explains why things are the way they are. And a lot of people want to know why. They want to know how, why, and how. And it's so much more than a surface thing. It goes so much deeper. We're talking about foundational, structural systems. Foundational, structural systems. That's what we're talking about here. Foundational religion is a foundational structural system. What was the other one? Religion was one. Language. Language. A foundational structural system. Science. Even the science considers that. Do you see how deep it is? So we're not just talking about a group of people who necessarily wants to continue um, those old perceptions or even those old systems. We're talking about people that don't know any other, they're not even aware of any other options. They're not even aware because those things are their very foundation. They're sort of like what's the guy in here that they described? What's his name? I gotta go back. I didn't put it in my. Um, the guy, the army guy. They're sort of like the army guy. They're sort of like the army guy. What the fuck was his name? Um, his name was Hank. They're sort of like Hank. They're sort of like Hank. Like Hank has, he had, he had no reason to question deeper because he had the things that he enjoyed. He didn't go deeper. So now we see that this particular group of subcategory of humanity, they have the things that they want. So why would they go deeper? Why would they go deeper if they have the things that they want? Hank had the things that he wanted. He had the career, he had the pretty wife, but he didn't know who he was. He wasn't in touch with his soul. So he felt empty, even though he had all of those physical, external things inside of himself, he felt empty. In contrast to Gregory. Now Gregory had went through all of these horrible things growing up, so he was cynical and he was mean and he didn't care because he was angry about his pain. And then he decided to confront his own pain. So imagine, which is what we're going to compare the groups. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because here we are. We can't really not talk about it because it's happening, right? Um, let's talk about the other category of human being and committed to becoming better thems, like Gregory. Change. Whole perception change. Your perception change, your experience is going to change. So we need the Hanks of the world. Hanks of the world, we need you to go deeper. We need you to do things, the physical things on the outside. But if you don't have compassion inside your heart, if you don't have love inside your heart, reverence for other life forms that look different than you, then you need to get in touch with you. Take some time, go into solitude like Gregory did. Take some time with yourself. Ask divinity these questions. Fill yourself up. Yourself. Activate your internal power, not just your external power. Your internal power, where you feel good about yourself. You don't need to have fancy stuff on to feel good. Nothing's wrong with fancy stuff, okay? I like fancy stuff, okay? Please don't get it misconstrued what I'm saying. I like fancy shit, okay? But I don't need that in order to feel empowered. I am empowered just as being true to me, just as being my true self. I am empowered just by knowing my soul, just by knowing my soul's purpose is empowering. I don't know, but I like it, okay? But I love being me. I know I love knowing And the more people that fall in love with the superficial, I'm this, no wanna, ooh, I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm that, and I'm this. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay not knowing some words. I'm okay with mispronouncing some words. I'm okay with my pimples. Even though I may not like them all the time. I don't like them at all. But I'm okay. They're there. They've been there for decades, you know. I know what I gotta do in order to get rid of them. I gotta, not eat some of the stuff that I don't enjoy. My taste buds enjoy, you know. Breathe different type of air, whatever, but I'm still this and I'm still that and I still love me. And if I have shiny stuff, cool. Who can I share it with? What can I do with my shiny stuff? I don't want shiny stuff. See, I got shiny stuff. I got, mm, I got shiny stuff. Mm. Or, ooh, look at all the shiny stuff I got. I got shiny stuff. No. If I have shiny stuff, it's just because I like it. But I love me. And I'm me with shiny stuff or without shiny stuff. I am still that I am. To thyself be true. Know thyself. Ooh. This was an interesting chapter right here. I'm expecting it to get even more interesting. But we're almost to the end of the chapter. So let's end it, because I have been going at this episode over 2 hours. If you have stayed here this long, thank you. Thank you. Put your comments in. If you started watching this and you stayed here this long watching this particular episode, thank you. Appreciate you. Please put your comments in about all that we have discussed. But I'm gonna continue, and I'm not the only one who does these long Okay, I listen to my brother. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna not say it. I listened to my brother, Dr. B. Serious, like 4 hours today. No problem. And I was like there present the whole time. So again, this is not for everybody. Remember, the tea here at the Super Tea Podcast Show is not hot topics, baby. Even though I did go into a little bit of current events, a little smidgen of current events, just to just because I know people are concerned, but there's really nothing to be concerned about. What we need to do is to find solutions. We need to know why these problems exist, and problems don't exist because um, because of just surface issues. Problems exist because of much deeper issues. And just like Gregory in this chapter we just read confronted his pain, we're going to have to confront those things. But before we could confront those things within another person, we have to confront those things within ourselves. And once we confront those things within ourselves and we are healed and we are whole, then we are equipped to confront those things in society. Before we go, what's the word I'm looking for? It's right there. But before we go big, we got to start small. That's even more simple. I like it that way. Before we go big, we got to start small. So start with you. You start confronting your pain. You start confronting the things that you need to put and do better with yourself. You could be aware that there's other things that need to be fixed. But what can you do about those other things that need to be fixed? What can you do about it? What can you do about it? Scream and shout and let it all out? What does that do for you? That shifts your vibration. That is attracting more shit that's on that same vibration into your life. Do you like it? If you don't like it, then don't concern yourself with it. It's none of your business. It ain't none of your business. You could be aware of it, but unless you are doing something to positively correct it or make it better, and there is something you could do to make it better, and it's make yourself better. You make yourself better, then you are going to affect everything around you, everything. But it starts with you. You are the center of your universe. You are the center of your universe. And we're all coexisting as part of one big, that's part of even bigger. That's part of it even bigger. That's part of it even bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, infinite. Do you know what infinite means? It doesn't stop going. It doesn't stop getting bigger. You think that because you have all of these systems inside of your physical body that are complex, that you're lofty. You are a lofty life form. You're just a life form. We're just a life form. We're all that are alive. We are life forms. We are living beings. The plants are living, the animals are living. There's a whole bunch of different life forms here, okay? So we can dwell in peace and we can dwell in harmony. We got to correct some shit. If our structural foundational systems, such as language, such as religion, such as science, these are three major things, people. If those things are flawed, then of course we're going to have flawed systems. Of course we're going to have people doing God knows what. We got to deal with those flaws. Those flaws must be corrected. We got to correct the language. We can't say, oh, white is right. No, no, no. No, what? Huh? Hmm? Huh? Science says that? Science says that white is all the colors together. It's what scientists said that. Who? I need to see the citation. I need to see a footnote. I need to know what scientists said that. But I know that that's an accurate description of what they have said. I know that's an accurate description of what they had said for decades. But I knew in kindergarten that didn't make no sense. Because when I take all my crayons and put them together, they don't look like the piece of paper I put them on. They don't just automatically like just fade because now they're all combined. So poof, can't see them no more. All I see is the color of the paper, which is white. No. When they all come together, they look black. So how can all the colors together be? Get the book yourself. Get the book yourself. But now we see why. Now we see part of the why. Part of the why. If you are told you are right just by the way you look and not by your character or what you do, and even though he's talking about characteristics and perceptions and stuff, it's still coming through a shade of. Ugh, it's still coming through flawed shades, through glasses that got specks on them. It's not clear. It's not clear. It's not clear, and it's not correct. But I'm gonna continue because we're almost at the end. But now that we understand why certain people are the way they are, it's not because they are bad. It is because of the program that has been programmed not only to them, but to the society on a whole for thousands of years. So we have to look at the program and get that is why the results are the way they are. So if we want different results, then we have to have different programs, which is happening. It is literally happening right now. There are different programs that are being implemented. There are new programs, there are new downloads, there is new information that is available. So I'm expecting and I'm knowing that we have solutions and we are elevating past the old into the new. But now we have some clarity. For those who needed clarity as to, well, why is this happening? And why is that happening? And why? Well, now you know, no, 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 no. Now you know. Here's your explanation. Because of the programs that have been, we're not talking about they have, this is programs for a couple of decades. We don't even talk about programs for a couple of hundreds of years. We're talking about programs for thousands of years. Thousands of years. This is what you've been talking about. This is what you've been saying. Y'all just been using colors to describe stuff. Okay, let's work on that. Let's work on that. But I'm going to continue reading what he said. Compassion is being moved to and by acts of the heart, to and by the energy of love. Okay, he hitting on some good points right there. If you strike without compassion against the darkness, you yourself enter the darkness. Okay, he went back. He's gonna go a little back and forth here. Um, I feel like reading. I'm reading the Bible right now. You know, because the Bible have these different contrasting statements, just like this book. And it's okay to have a contrast, okay? But it's sometimes confusing for folks because sometimes people take things literally. And if a person is taking this literally, uh, this is like gray area, right? I'm gonna keep reading now because I literally have one, two, three, four more paragraphs to go. Okay, we're almost done. Let's get through this together. Understanding that evil is the absence of light challenges the perception of power as external. Understanding that evil is the absence of light challenges the perception of power as external. Can an absence be defeated? An evil person can be arrested, but can evil be arrested? An evil group can be imprisoned, but can evil be imprisoned? A compassionate heart is more effective against evil than an army. An army can engage another army, but it cannot engage evil. A compassionate heart can engage evil directly. It can bring light where there was no light. Understanding evil as the absence of light requires you to examine the choices that you make each moment in terms of whether they move you towards light or away from it. It allows you to look with compassion upon those who engage in evil activities, even as you challenge their activities, and thus protect you from the creation of negative karma. It permits you to see that the place to begin the task of eliminating evil is within yourself. This is the appropriate response to evil. Man, well, I'll tell you what I know. That's because of my work that I do personally off of the camera, with my devotion and my prayers and just being true, just being true and being open to that divinity. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's everywhere. Like divinity is everywhere. Divinity is not the absence of anything because it's everywhere and it's everything. Yeah, everything is divine. The dark is also divine. That's where seeds sprout out of. Like seeds are not falling out of the sun and out of the sky. You know, they are sprouting up to the sun, but the roots are still underground, and those roots in the growth starts in the darkness. That's where the growth starts for the seed. That's where the seed opens up at. That's where every seed opens up at. Every seed opens up in darkness. Human seed, plant seeds, they open up in darkness. That's where they start to grow at. So, darkness is not the absence of light at all. That's a misnomer. That's a misunderstanding. But now we get it. Now we get why some people who don't have dark skin tones may feel that they are superior because of the structural the foundational structural systems, religion, language, and science that has been programmed with this ideology of white being light and right and black being dark and bad. That's what has been programmed into those systems. So that's why we have the results that we see right here, right now. But we have better results emerging because that's what happens when you evolve, right? Remember, this is back in the 80s, people. So I'm sure that this was the best that could be done. And I'm pretty sure it was also explained in a way that people in the 80s and early 90s it could spark. It could spark some type of hmm, hmm, hmm. Because he goes right into what I just said before I read that paragraph. It starts with you conquering what's inside of you. He just basically what he said. Let's see if I'm seeing and you guys hearing the same thing. I'm gonna start that paragraph again. Understanding evil. Well, this is not that's not where it's at. Um, let's see. Mm, it allows you to look with compassion. Same paragraph, just not at the beginning. It allows you to look with compassion upon those who engage in evil activities, even as you challenge their activities, and thus protects you from the creation of negative karma. It permits you to see that the place to begin, that's where I need to start, the second to the last sentence of this paragraph. It permits you to see that the place to begin the task of eliminating evil is within yourself. That is the appropriate response to evil. The higher order of logic and understanding that characterizes the multisensory human permits it to learn more quickly than the five sensory human is able to learn from what its senses alone tells it and what its intellect makes of that. We have evolved as far as the intellect will take us. We have explored the scope and depth of five sensory reality, and we have discovered the limitations of external power. The next phase of our evolution will take us into the experiences of the multisensory human and the nature of authentic power. This requires the heart. I wish we would talk more about the heart. Ooh, we're at the end of the whole first section. We have created a section together. We have completed a section together. Yay! Next week, next Soulful Saturday, we will continue where we left off at, and I will try to get some crayons. I got some crayons in here so that I can prove my point on my paper. I feel the way. Because I couldn't really like show it because I didn't have the right tools right here because I didn't know, but I'm pretty sure we've done it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only, when I was younger, the only child that took all of the colors and like put them all together just to see. Because when you see two make a different color, I want to see if I add more, will that make a different color? Like, how many different colors can I make? If I put them all together, what's gonna look? Oh, it's just gonna look black if I put all the colors together. Right? It's gonna look black. It's not gonna look white because that was the color of the paper. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. This is my longest episode to date, but it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to be of service. It's been a pleasure to share. I'm going to obviously put some links in my description. So please do click them. Click them. If you're here hanging out at the Super Tea Podcast Show, if the matcha I'm serving you is feeling good to your soul, then press a link. Okay, press a link. Get you some merch. Take some pictures. Post and tag Matcha Madness or the Super Tea Podcast Show, whichever one you prefer. You could just tag us, comment, tell me your thoughts and your feelings on the revelations that we have had together today, because this was very revealing to me. Like, I knew that the result of certain behaviors was due to the programming. I just didn't know that the programming was that deep. I didn't know the programming was, I mean, I knew programming was in religion, but I didn't know that that type of programming was in religion. I knew the sexist programming was in religion, but I didn't know that the colorism was in religion. I didn't know that I didn't know that. I just discovered that with you here live at the Super T Podcast Show. So it's been a very revealing day, a very good day, and now I'm gonna rest this physical body of mine. And I will see you all next week. I'll probably post in between here and there, just doing shorts, to inspire you and all of that good stuff. I did apply to be an affiliate of Lisa Nichols. Yep. I got to check my email and see if they have approved me, because then I will be putting her links in here too. And I'm actually going to take her course. I'm going to take her course. Like, I'm going to stay really close because I really appreciate what she's doing, how she's doing it. And I need to be with gladiators. Like, I can't be gladiating out here by myself. I need to be with other gladiators. And I'm grateful that other gladiators are seem to be coming up out of the woodwork. Oh my gosh. Like the sisters I seen today, it was very serendipity. Is that the word? I believe serendipity is the word. It was very serendipity-ish. I don't think serendipity-ish is a word, but we got to make it a word right now. It's very serendipity-ish. It was just like a reunion. It's like, I know you. Well, how do I know you? And whoa, you know, some of the things I know, because I can recognize certain of things. And now I want to dive deeper. I think more than one is an author, but one is an author. And first of all, and I could be tripping. I could be straight tripping right now. But when I tell you, they give me very much delta. 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 I could have been tripping. It could have been red they was wearing and not crimson. I didn't even see an elephant, but they give me very much delta. They give me very much delta. They give me very much delta. I love them. I love them. I have already, it's very strange how I love those people. I love my people. We familiar. We familiar. I had to break down to my son recently, because it's a lot of things going on with these subcategories and how people are trying to cause division in between people. But it ain't gonna happen. Like, we ain't there no more. You just cannot tell people anything and they be like, because the way, just naturally, all of everything is raising. Everything, the vibration, everything is raising, everything is changing, including us. We are changing. And when we hear something that is wrong, just like how, or something that, I wouldn't say wrong might be the wrong word, but wrong might be the wrong word. That's funny. Wrong may be incorrect in describing. When you hear something that does not resonate with you, you're going to feel it. And when you hear something that does resonate, even when you don't hear it, when you just feel something that resonates with you, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. So the indigenous cultures are rising up. They're rising up. They're standing up. They're speaking. They don't care. Oh, it's inappropriate for me to let out a tribal cry in a formal setting. Well, I'm young and I don't give a fuck about what's incorrect, because what you're doing is incorrect. You're not going to do something incorrect and tell me that I'm incorrect for doing this. Nah, this tribal cry is about to come up. When they did that whole tribal cry thing, I don't know if y'all seen that girl do that tribal cry thing. That indigenous girl in her suit stand up, and then the elders couldn't even help themselves. Like, everybody was just sitting there and they was bullshitting them. You know how they be bullshitting in Parliament? They were doing that parliamentary bullshit. And that spirit rose up, that ancient spirit rose up through that young girl, and she let out that war cry, and all the motherfuckers stood up in that motherfucking room that was a part of that motherfucking tribe, and nobody could say shit. Oh, we're gonna reconvene. You ain't got no choice but to reconvene. Do you know what just happened? What happened was not just stationary to that particular parliamentary situation that was happening. What that's happening globally. The earth is alive. Okay? She's been alive. The earth has been alive. Gaia has been living, okay? We're on a living organ. We as living organisms is on a living organism. And let me make this as clear as day. We don't get our shit correct. We human beings, humanity, we don't get this shit correct. Let me tell you what this living organism will do. It will eliminate us. Okay? She's done it before. It won't be the first time, okay? It won't be the first time. So let the last time be the last time, okay? Humanity gotta start all the way from scratch over, okay? We don't gotta start from scratch, okay? We can take the lessons of the past and we can start making these changes and we can make this shit better together, okay? Better people create a better world together. We gonna have to do that, okay? We gonna have to do that. We gonna have to recognize that we as living organisms are living on a living organism. And this living organism that we living on, called the earth, will sustain itself. And it will eliminate us to sustain itself. So we need to stop thinking. We need to get these ideas out of our minds that we rule the earth, okay? We want to be in harmony with the earth. We want to be friends with the earth. We want to love the earth. We want to appreciate the earth because she will protect us. She give us food. She give us food. She give us shelter. What? What you want to fight with her for? What you want to be over her for? For what? What you want to dominate her for? Well, dominate her. You, I like. I'm not a small person. I'm not a small person. I cannot be the only person that's been outside on a windy day. Do you know what the wind feel like? I ain't talking about tornado wind. I'm just talking about a regular strong wind. Do you know what that feel like? We about to feel like you about to blow the fuck over. Do you know what that feel like? But do you want to dominate that? You little you better dominate your own little self, okay? Dominate yourself. Dominate you. That's what you need to dominate. You look over your folks. Don't dominate them. Look over them. If you're stronger, you bigger, look over them. Don't dominate, okay? Only thing that needs dominance is you over you. That's it. You over yourself. That's what needs the dominance. But I could continue to preach and teach, and I need to get some rest. It's 12:20. I started this at 9 something. I've been on here almost 3 hours. To be serious, I blame you for this. I didn't even know this live could go that long. Now I've seen YouTube stuff with like meditation music, like listen to this overnight meditation music, and it's like 7 hours long. But I had no idea that I could do a live for 5, 10, 20 hours. With that being said, I'm gonna just press the X because if I don't, more is going to come through. The finger, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. Good night, everyone.